Is Danhousen being overexposed, overused, incorrectly used? Whatever term applies for you that you prefer. We're here to talk about that question. My name is Chris,
My name is Vincent.
and this is Wrassle Graps, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here. We're talking about a subject that I've seen people talking about recently, and you specifically wanted to talk about it.
Yes.
And this will be a shorter one from us, really, only about 10 minutes. And yes, this is probably the one place where you'll find two guys making a video that's 10 minutes and calling it short, but that's different.
I mean, short. I mean, that's how long some TikToks are. So,
That's great idea. I've never stumbled across those.
yeah. I think short content's way better than long content.
I do. That's what I tell myself every day.
That's a good thing to tell yourself. Keeps you motivated.
It's very motivating. Very motivating. But that's not why we're here. Danhausen. What's
Danhousen. I would say yes to the question, by the way. I think that they are overdoing Danhausen, unfortunately.
I would also say yes to the question. It started off good. People were upset about the reveal. I was fine with it because I saw that box and I
It didn't
say,
start off good. That's true.
yeah, people didn't like it. I saw that giant box and they said we're going to review something in this box. When I saw that, I told myself, listen, nothing serious is coming out of that box. The
Right.
people
When you
wanted
look
it to
back at
be,
it, it almost seems like a red flag.
it does seem like a red flag, but people thought it was going to be Jericho, and there was no chance in hell Jericho was coming back like that if he was going to. And from there, he did some on screen segments that went over a lot better. People liked him more. He had the whole New York Knicks thing that worked out well in his favor.
Mainstream Danhausen.
Mainstream Danhausen. Went a little mainstream there. I think he cursed Stephen A. Smith at some point. That was great too. Um, he did do that, right? Let's not just be forgetting.
Yeah, that happened.
All right. He did that. That was great. But then he started having these weird matches where he'd have a machine and then the mini houses would come out of it. It's like, oh, well, that was kind of dumb. And then he'd have like basketball players coming out of it. And you're like, oh, that's fun, but also dumb. Then he'd do human money's on a pole, like at SummerSlam. You'd be like, huh, why are we still doing this with the Judgment Day? Dominic Mysterio is world champion of Mexico right now. What are we doing?
Would you say it went overdone when the mini houses got involved?
I'd say that's when I started getting out of it.
I think that being a reoccurrent thing made it feel a little overdone.
To me, that's very much a marker of, like when Vince was still around and
Yeah.
he wanted to make something goofy whenever a little person was involved. And no offense to that community, but like whenever Vince would do that, you knew for a fact he wasn't taking it seriously.
I would say it's like a trope, but I don't know if that's the right word for it.
It's a pattern that WWE has. I'll certainly say that. So off the bat, that wasn't a good sign to me. Which again, not saying anything negative about the people involved in that. I'm
They've
happy
had
that
some good moments, the mini houses, but I think the last moment with the Dominic match really was just too much.
that wasn't too much to me. The one where Danhausen had a handicap match and then like a bunch of mini houses were his partner, that was too much to me.
I think that was that bad, really.
I hated that match.
It was okay.
I hated everything about that. By the time we got to SummerSlam, the human money's on the pole. Yes, it was stupid. Yes, it was bad. But I thought to myself, you know what? I'm so numb to this at this point. It is what it is. It's fine.
I honestly think Danhausen is better than this, you know? I feel like they're using him in this way, and it doesn't really fit how I would see Danhausen being used,
I
or how
think,
I'd like to see him being used.
no, I agree with you. I feel like the best thing for them to do is take a step back, reel it in a bit, and put Danhausen in mini backstage segments where he's just interacting with people. I think that's his real strength.
I was gonna say maybe it's the matches. Maybe he's having too many matches, and he's being, or maybe even getting involved in too many. Like he got involved with the Queen of the Ring, Liv Morgan.
Hmm.
So maybe he's doing too many big things. In fact, beating the AAA Mega Champions, it's too big for Danhausen.
I forgot about the Queen of the Ring, but that was also a problem
He
too.
cursed Liv Morgan right before the match.
Yes, they basically told you, hey, Liv Morgan's not winning this.
Like he shouldn't be involved in that stuff.
No, and I feel like the problem is even that he's having matches. The problem is that he's having matches and they're going for like 10, 15 minutes. Danhousen
That's
matches should not be that long.
they should be silly and fun and short.
Very short. Like
I
if
like the fucking even people like that Sami Zayn match with that WrestleMania with that guy.
Johnny Knoxville.
They like that match. I didn't like that match personally, but probably along those lines. But with unserious people.
I didn't like it in the sense of I wish Sami Zayn was doing something else,
Yeah,
but I don't know. I like that the way they did it, if that makes sense. Like I knew it was gonna be stupid. I didn't like it in the sense that Sami Zayn shouldn't be the one involved in this. Like that should have been Austin Theory's spot that year, whatever.
almost how Dominic's being treated right now.
And that's the other thing about Danhausen right now. He's actively hurting the people that he's in the feuds with, not physically, but momentum wise.
I don't know if Dominic's momentum was already halted before that. Though.
Oh,
They weren't doing
he's
much with him. I'll say that they weren't doing much with him, and then this was like the nail, almost the nail in the coffin for whatever that was supposed to be.
well. Listen, he's Triple A Mega Champion. He's been feuding with Danhausen since what, April now.
Yeah,
So like that's not good. And
he's
now
got like
like
one foot in the grave.
then you have Dom in a situation where he shows up on Raw. It's stupid. It's goofy. It's nonsense. He shows up on Triple A, and you're supposed to take him seriously as like the top guy. And it just makes it really difficult to buy that character.
I also feel like that's overrun too. I feel like he should have lost the title, but he has to get to Triple Mania.
Well, the problem is he has to actually show up on the show. That's awesome. Which he's been doing more of, but like for 4 months there, he won the belt and just didn't show up.
That's true. That's the problem with Dominic. He hasn't been doing much, even on Triple A.
But again, this isn't helping. The Danhausen stuff.
Danhausen, would you say he fell off? Since
I
the Knicks thing, obviously he did.
I would say he's falling off currently. There's still people that still like him.
They took him off fucking Raw, I think.
They did for a
He was on the
minute.
commercial break.
I really think that he's falling off, but it's very possible still to fix this and get him to be liked again.
Joe Hendry fell off.
Well, Joe Hendry was never really on.
He was bad. He was on. He made WrestleMania with Randy Orton.
He wasn't on in the main roster though.
That was the main roster.
No, that he wasn't called up yet. That was
Right.
NXT.
That's true. I think he's also someone being underutilized. I think he's underutilized though. I don't think he's overdone.
The problem is right now the title picture, the mid card scene. Like you have great wrestlers there, like Penta. You got Chad Gable there right now. Like you can't really have him go up against Chad Gable because Chad Gable's gonna kill him.
I don't think. Okay, I don't think you put enough fucking credit into. Wait, who you talking about? Danhausen or Joe Hendry?
I'm talking about Joe Hendry. You put him against Chad Gable, I wrestle him any day of the week. What are we
I was
talking?
gonna say no, man, because I think Joe Hendry has that dog in it. Okay, not like that, not like the sponsorship,
You
but
just brought up bad memories. That's
not the
PTSD.
sponsorship. I didn't mean it like that.
Wait, what?
But
I'm ready for you to throw on a fucking bulldog head and just start running around the room chugging
let me see what.
some
No,
mug
I'm
root
kidding.
beers.
Okay. No, but I think he's a good wrestler. Like he can do the amateur wrestling bullshit, things like that. From what I've seen from him, so I think that he would be able to hold his own against Chad Gable. But WWE didn't sign him for that reason. They signed him for his entrance that they don't use. So that's the problem.
It's very true, and in a way, isn't that kind of funny when you think about it?
And funny, or than what he's. I guess it's funny.
Funny
I
in an
guess.
ironic way, kind of, not like in a I'm laughing sort of way.
Which also that fucking. We have to talk about the singing segment that they did on Raw.
Oh, well,
Danhausen and Joe Hendry. That might have been the beginning of everything going down.
in that case, we're going over 10 minutes, brother. Let's do it. Singing segment. Yeah, they come out and they do a song, him and Danhausen. They do a song, and then the Ryan Garcia involvement sure as hell didn't help. And
That
then
also didn't help Dominic either.
didn't help anybody in that ring. He showed up
JD
and
was already fucked up.
didn't he say something stupid like, "Oh, man, they wouldn't have booed me if I was in a better segment on the card." I was like, buddy, that's not why they're booing you.
He's a delusional. That's him in a nutshell. I mean, there's more to it, obviously, but he's delusional.
I went out there, said racist things, probably other terrible things too. And dude just walked out there and said, "Man, I don't know why they're mad."
Yeah, he's a fucking clown.
It really
But that's
is.
not the point of this.
The
Like
point is,
that singing segment was just ass, man. It was just so ass. I've seen some people say that looks like it was AI generated, like set up. I do agree. I would agree.
it was a very bad segment. This is up there in the annals of history, along with Baron Corbin putting dog food on Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley's sisters. It's up there on that level of bad.
People saying it's the worst thing Triple H has ever produced.
It certainly is. It certainly is.
Fucking Joe Hendry, man. Seeing him be a part of that, I was like, when I was like younger, I was like, Joe Hendry's gonna be a big star. He's gonna do some creative things. I didn't mean this, man. I didn't mean this.
It was certainly an experience.
And
But
Danhousen, when he got to the main roster, he might have come out of a stupid box. But I still, after that, he did some good stuff backstage. He had some good segments, some funny things. You laughed at it. I couldn't laugh at this. I had to cringe. Like, that's what had to happen.
look, our opinion gets to sum things up here is we think that it might be time to put Danhausen back in the box just for a little bit to give him a break and freshen him
What
up.
if he goes in the box? He like turn, like they do the little, like make it turn on, and then he like becomes a new person. You know,
A new person?
well, he's the same person, but like he's just different. Like he's lesser than, like he's just new. You know, like he's the same guy he used to be before.
Look, they can do what they want as long as it's interesting and good. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's Danhausen. I'm not expecting the moon. I'm just expecting, to be
What if he
entertained.
forgets everything? What if he just like forgets it all, and then he just like goes back to being just a silly little guy?
You don't want that because then what happens is he just runs
He
back
sees the
everything
mini
he's
houses. He's like, "Who are you?"
no, he runs back everything he's done so far. So you get another 5 month feud with the Judgment Day from him, and then they just redo everything because Danhausen doesn't remember it. That's what you're asking for.
Was that a good impression of Dana?
No,
I thought it was a good impression. Come on. Who are you? You are cursed.
that was
I'm
better
good.
actually.
It was good. I'm telling you, I'm good at Daniels.
I'll give you that. But look, we're gonna wrap it up here because we got 12 minutes, which is 2 minutes over the 10 minutes we were afforded. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Let us know your opinions down below in the comments below. Remember, like and subscribe while you're there also. And if you're listening on a podcasting platform, 5 stars greatly
No, because you're
appreciated.
not. I think this is YouTube exclusive.
All right, fine. Fuck you if you're listening on a podcast platform. Whatever.
But you subscribe, bro. Subscribe.
Yeah, do that. And if you want more Wrassle Graps, follow us on the Threads, the X, or the Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Follow us on all the social medias. We're very active there. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you later.